Hello my darlings, I hope you're doing very well. I hope you are sitting comfortably, you are cozy, and you have your snacks and your beverages at the ready. In today's video, I am of course talking about ephemeral tattoos once more. This is literally one of my favorite things to look into, honestly. Like, the whole thing truly does fascinate me, and how it has been such a disaster, such a gimmick. It truly is incredibly fascinating to me to see the downfall of this company, brand, business, whatever you would like to call it. It's just a prime example as to why tech bros should not try and infiltrate the tattoo industry. It's like oil and water, or chalk and cheese. Like, the two just do not mix at all. So let's do a very quick rundown as to what ephemeral tattoos are. So ephemeral tattoos are essentially a temporary tattoo that was only meant to last 9 to 15 months. Ephemeral tattoos are done the traditional way that normal tattoos are done, by using a tattoo machine, but they are done using a specially formulated tattoo ink that again was meant to fade between 9 and 15 months. Ephemeral tattoos opened up a bunch of tattoo studios offering these ephemeral tattoos, and then they quickly shut down as well because people started to have problems with their ephemeral tattoos. And by that I mean the people that got ephemeral tattoos were noticing that their ephemeral tattoos were not fading in the time frame that they were promised, the 9 to 15 months. Some people's tattoos were hanging around after 2 years. Some were hanging around after 3 years. Some still have their ephemeral tattoos today, even though they were done years ago. Okay, so it's all been a little bit of a fail. One thing about ephemeral tattoos is the fact that they never ever tested laser tattoo removal on them, because, well, they're meant to fade, so why would you test laser on them? And people are now trying to laser off their ephemeral tattoos because they only got them because they thought they would be around for a couple of months. Well, not a couple of months, but, you know, under 2 years, and they're having problems with laser. Some laser tattoo removal companies will not touch ephemeral tattoos at all because they just don't know how it's going to react, and they obviously don't want to hurt people. Damage them for life. Well, not damage them for life, but like scar them for life, and leave them with incredibly scarred skin. Once a lot of people started to complain about the fact that their ephemeral tattoos were not, fading in the time promised, or they were fading incredibly patchy, or they were just not looking great at all, Ephemeral decided to extend the claim of 9 to 15 months fade time to 3 years. And this basically just shows how little testing went into the ephemeral ink. They kind of rushed to market with the whole thing because they saw some success with it through, testing it out on people, and was like, you know what, that's good enough, we'll just run with it and open up all of these studios and do all of these tattoos. And yeah, it has well and truly bit them on the arse.
They also did go through a reformulation, so they changed the original ephemeral ink, the ink that a lot of people have been having issues with, but there are still people having issues with the reformulation as well. So
over the past couple of years or so, there has been a few lawsuits threatened, and that is still ongoing today. We'll look into that more a bit in this video. And the only thing that Ephemeral really have done about all of this controversy is basically just offer a full refund if your ephemeral tattoos haven't faded after 3 years. But people have had some issues trying to get that refund. Like, Ephemeral are not very responsive. It can take a while, which is very disappointing, obviously. There is a lot more to this ephemeral tattoo situation. I have made quite a few videos on it now, so if you want more information, I will leave a link down below to a playlist of all my videos on ephemeral tattoos. So anyway, let's get on to the updates and what's been happening as of late. Like I was saying, ephemeral tattoos extended the time frame of how long an ephemeral tattoo is meant to last to 3 years, but now their website is saying 2 years. I don't know if it's an error or they've, retracted it and they're now saying 2 years, but in other places on their website, it's saying 3. I don't know what's going on with it. This is part of the homepage, and it says real tattoos made to fade, now REACH compliant with an updated fade duration of 2 years. The only way to wear a tattoo without the lifetime commitment, perfect for trying placements and designs before making them permanent or just to enjoy for a while. Which, that's what temporary tattoos are for, like actual temporary tattoos, you know, the one you stick on you with a bit of water and they last for like 2 or 3 days before they get all sticky and yucky, which is obviously the downside of them, but you're not like penetrating your skin with a needle, so like it's kind of worth it, you know? I will always advise using temporary tattoos to figure out if you want a placement tattoo. It's cheap, it's easy, it doesn't harm you, you don't have to commit to, you know, a tattoo for 2 to 3 years, even longer. So yeah, it just seems like a very silly idea to me. And then it says, get the tattoo exclusively from our approved tattoo artist partners or buy the ink yourself, which is so incredibly worrying to me, and we'll get into that in a moment. One thing that I did find on their website, which again is very confusing, because on the front of the website it says these fade in 2 years, but then there's this on the website that says, when you say maximum fade duration will be 3 years, do you mean it will be gone right at the 3-year mark? For the sake of clarity and consistency across our studio teams, yes. For example, if you get your tattoo on 1st of January 2023, if it's not gone by January 1st of 2026, let us know by emailing fade@ephemeral.tattoo. Of course, if you're close to the end of the window and have concerns, we'd be happy to do our best to address them. Like, the inconsistency with their fade time is just so infuriating. And as a business that is in the business of potentially scarring someone for life, you need to have your story straight. Like, that's the least you can do. People aren't asking for much, just some clarity or a definite answer. Like the 2 years, the 3 years, heck, next year it'll be 4 years, and the year after that it'll be 6 years, and then before you know it, oh, all ephemeral tattoos are pretty much permanent unless you're lucky. And then it has this graph on the website that says not temporary, not permanent, made to fade. It says temporary ink is applied to skin surface, epidermis, and lasts for a few days up to 3 weeks. I believe this would be something like ink box or henna tattoos, something that like stains your skin for a little while, right? Then they have permanent ink, which would be tattoo ink. Ink is applied to the skin layer, dermis, and stays for life unless removed by laser. And then it says ephemeral ink. Ink is applied to the skin layer, dermis, and naturally and safely disappears within 2 years. Black only, which is the only colour they do. So like I said earlier, and what it says on the homepage, it says get the tattoo exclusively from our approved tattoo artist or buy the ink yourself, which is so strange.
I forgot to add that Ephemeral had to approve you as a tattoo artist to buy the ink to start off with, and now it's like, hey, I don't care who you are, you can buy it, which to me is a bit like, yikes. I kind of did have a little bit of respect for Ephemeral for vetting who was buying their ink.
And it is very, very expensive. So you can only buy it in 5ml packs. Okay, and you can buy it in a 2-pack, a 5-pack, a 10-pack, or a 20-pack. And it says a single pack contains ink to fill a small tattoo ink cap and comes in single-use packaging. So you basically can only use it once when you open it, and that's it. Then you throw away anything you have left, right? And the prices of these are insane. Like a 2-pack, £52, a 5-pack, £123.50, a 10-pack, £234, and then 20-pack, £416, which is a lot of money for a tattoo ink that fades. This is extortionate in comparison to a regular black tattoo ink. And of course, with Ephemeral, you have the added pizzazz of the fact that it may fade eventually. But then, like, you're paying more for less at the end of the day, aren't you? You're paying for something that's gonna disappear. Why? Like, it's crazy. And I went to, like, pretend to buy it kind of thing. And obviously I'm in the UK, so the shipping is crazy. Like, that's a lot of money. I don't think many tattoo artists would be willing to pay that amount for shipping for something like this. Like, I feel like this is something that is only going to be beneficial to a tattoo artist in America. And even then, like, I don't know how many tattoo artists are actually doing these ephemeral tattoos at this moment in time. I don't think there's many, to be honest with you. I feel like a lot of people have stayed very clear away from this, especially as more and more people are coming forward and being like, hey, this isn't working the way it's meant to work. Like, you're kind of just asking for a lawsuit as a tattoo artist, right? And sure, the tattoo artist can blame the ink, but at the end of the day, it's the tattoo artist that did the tattoo, so they're going to be liable too if a client is very unhappy, right? Now, one very, very popular bit of feedback that Ephemeral have gotten throughout social media, throughout the internet, even within my comment section, is the fact that they should offer this tattoo ink in hospitals for treatments like radiotherapy. So when you get like radiotherapy for like cancer, you will be tattooed where the radiotherapy will target you. My mum had a couple. She was very excited when she had some. She was kind of like, oh look, I have tattoos now, I'm like you. And I'm like, yes mum, sure, a couple of dots, welcome to the club. But yeah, the idea of, you know, this made to fade tattoo would be incredibly helpful for people going through radiation who obviously don't want to have a permanent dot tattooed on them. So if there's a chance that this tattoo ink will fade, that's very beneficial, obviously. So luckily Ephemeral have actually jumped in on that. That's one positive. Like, I'm glad they have taken, you know, this technology that they have made for their tattoo ink, or whatever they want to call it, like this formula, and are using it for good. So they now have this on their website that says Ephemeral Fade Mark, a semi-permanent radiation therapy tattoo. The first semi-permanent radiation therapy tattoo made to fade over time with the promise of cancer treatment without the daily reminder. Fade Mark is applied by a radiation therapist and guarantees the patient receives a safe tattoo designed to last through the course of a radiation therapy program, not for life. And of course, as we may know, the formula for ephemeral tattoos, again, doesn't always fade completely, or it fades kind of patchy, but something is better than nothing with something like this. If you don't want that permanent reminder that you've been through, you know, radiotherapy or cancer treatment, that obviously can be kind of upsetting for some people. Some people just don't care. You know, they're just like, whatever, this is part of my story, and, you know, I'm still around today because of this tattoo, because of this radiotherapy that I went through. But some other people obviously aren't too keen on it, which is completely understandable, obviously. Anyway, the website continues to say the ink, made of medical grade bioabsorbable and biocompatible polymers commonly found in medical devices such as absorbable sutures and meniscal tasks. Meniscal tack. Safety studies are being conducted by Henry Ford Health System. Application sterile for single use only. Ink can be applied using tattoo machines, electronic microblade pens, or manual microblade disposable pens. A complementary microblade pen is included with each unit of ink. Benefits. A patient will no longer have a tattoo that serves as a permanent reminder of their cancer treatment. An ideal product for those with an aversion to traditional tattoos, either due to religious or personal reasons. When ephemeral tattoos first come about, they very much did bank on the whole, hey, these tattoos are semi-permanent, they will fade, so if you want to get a little hidden tattoo to hide from your family because they're super religious, or you're religious but you still want to have that tattoo experience, hey, our ink is good for you. And they really, you know, pushed that on people, and they are doing it again here, but this one seems to have more of a legit reason, and a little bit like, hey, like, you don't have to go against your religion because you're unwell. You don't have to worry about that because this tattoo will eventually hopefully fade. Then they have a story from someone that says it was very traumatic to hear that I had cancer, and told at the same time that I would need permanent tattoos for the treatment. No one likes to be forced into a decision that isn't right for you, and you don't want reminders when you make it past your 5-year mark of surviving cancer, from someone called Debbie, which again, I can completely understand that story. There is a image here of basically what the dot would look like. So again, you probably have seen quite a few people with, you know, dots on their chest because they've had radiation for breast cancer or lung cancer or whatever. And then there is an FAQ that kind of answers some basic questions, which again is incredibly helpful for those that might want to, you know, take part in this. The only thing that's a bit of a red flag to me is the fact that it says that it lasts between 6 to 15 months. And as we know with ephemeral tattoos, unless they have reformulated ephemeral for fade mark, so it's a completely separate thing, it doesn't clarify that anywhere, I don't think. Oh wait, yes it does, it's right here. Is the fade mark ink the same as ephemeral ink used in recreational tattoos? Both are made of similar materials, however our recreational ink may contain additional colour additives to obtain various artistic functionalities and designed to last much longer than fade mark ink. Ah, okay, so it has been formulated differently, so there is a chance that, you know, fade mark will only last 6 to 15 months. Whether we can guarantee that or not, I don't know. I would like to trust it, even though I can't trust anything that ephemeral says nowadays. Like, I feel like the bridge has been burned and, you know, there's just no trust there. I still would like to try and trust it, you know, just for the benefit of the doubt for something like this. And then they have some documents here about, you know, the clinical trial and all of that. So I like that they are incredibly transparent about all of this, which is, again, very, very helpful. Does it right their wrongs of how many people they have screwed over with their ephemeral business? I don't know.
Oh god, so this whole section was going incredibly well. I was willing to give Ephemeral the benefit of the doubt and be like, you know what, they've done a lot of crap, but I'm glad they're doing something like this. Well, this whole thing is phony. Not the actual product, I don't think anyway, but this whole segment here, I don't think there's no Debbie G. This image that you see here of someone's like ankle with a black dot on it, that's been pulled from Google. That's not this Debbie G's. It's literally an image from Google. The only difference here is the fact that this image hasn't been edited. So if you look at the ephemeral one, the skin is a little bit smoothed out and blurred. And there isn't a text bit on it that says radiation tattoo like there is on the Google image. But these are for sure the same photo. If you can see like the tan lines around the ankle, the exact same. It kind of goes into a V on the ankle or a point. And you can just about see the like black sofa, I guess, in the open PR one there. The wood flooring patterns are the exact same. There is just some color editing, so they're not as vibrant as each other. There is also something missing above the ankle. I don't know what that is. It might be like a hand holding up the ankle. But I honestly feel like Ephemeral's version has been put through AI and edited maybe that way, or Photoshop, that section has been removed and again the skin has been smoothed. Either way, Ephemeral have stolen this photo from someone. This is not theirs, nor do they credit anyone for this photo on their website. I did click on the website that this photo is a part of to see if Fademark was mentioned anywhere throughout this, just in case, and it's not mentioned on this website whatsoever. There is absolutely no mention of Fademark tattoos here. So I clicked on this link and this is what it brought me to. Again, there is absolutely no mentions of Fademark throughout any of this website. Absolutely none. So that photo again does not belong to Fademark because they're not mentioned in anything linked to the original website where that photo is from. This to me is incredibly alarming because they're dealing with medical things. You need to be precise, cite your sources, and credit who you are getting your research from, who you're getting your stories from. Like, who even is this Debbie G? Where did they get that story from, or is it made up? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is medical things. It's not like a silly tattoo business or anything else. Like, this is serious stuff, especially when you're dealing with radiation and cancer treatments, you know? Fademark is basically not mentioned anywhere throughout any of this whatsoever. So big yikes all around, you know. There is then another link on that website where the picture is from, and of course, not surprising by any means, there is, you know, absolutely no mention of Fademark anywhere. So I believe Ephemeral/Fademark have took this photo that is a part of this radiation tattoo market brief, or research, shall I say. So if you click on this link, there is a sample report here, and it will have like a bunch of information about radiation tattoos and the type of ink that's used, and you can request to have a look at it. Obviously, if you have a decent, you know, business, they wouldn't give it to me, you know, just a content creator that has absolutely no business to do with radiation or anything like that. But I believe the unedited photo is a part of this sample report, and Ephemeral have basically ripped it from there, and it will explain as to why their version of it is obviously a little bit bigger, because they would have had the full picture from the report, but they've edited it and just smoothed it out basically, which is just, oh boy.
But anyway, back to actual ephemeral tattoos and not this Fademark stuff. There are, of course, more people coming to social media talking about the fact that their ephemeral tattoos just aren't fading. They're not disappearing at all. We have one person by the name of M who goes by the name Egg Dress Up on social media, but according to their Instagram, their name is M. But yeah, M uploaded a TikTok documenting the fact that her ephemeral tattoo is still kind of noticeable after 3 years.
Get ready with me to fix my tattoo that I thought was going to be temporary, but it turned out to be permanent. A lot of you that have been following me for a while know that I got this tattoo about 3 years ago. They told me that it was going to disappear within 9 to 15 months, but it ended up staying on me for 3 years. I mean, obviously not ideal because I didn't know that I was going to be signing up for like a permanent tattoo. Granted, it is super faded by now, but I don't think it's actually ever going away. It was kind of a blessing in disguise though, because it helped me get over the fear of the permanency of a tattoo. So then I actually ended up getting a real tattoo a few months ago, and I love it. So today I'm finally getting this one covered up and improved. I feel like the tattoo artists at this company were not really concerned about being like perfect, just because of the nature of the tattoo. It's like supposed to go away, right? So then they're not going to spend too much time worrying about like details. Like there's not as much risk riding on the tattoo. So I feel like it's not the best quality. Like if you look closely, there are some mistakes, and that's been on my body for 3 years now. So I'm really happy today to work with an artist that I picked out myself, that I really like her style, and she's going to help me improve the existing design, to be clear. I just find it really funny that like I got a temporary tattoo because I was afraid of having a real tattoo, and then I ended up turning into a real tattoo anyway.
Em then documents her ephemeral tattoo cover-up process.
Today we are getting a permanent tattoo cover-up for real, because I finally got over the fear of having something permanent on my body because it was done to me without my knowledge anyway. I knew I was gonna be here for a good part of the day, so I like how cozy the studio was. A lot of people actually got angry at me for getting a tattoo that I thought was supposed to fade. I mean, yes, I probably could have done more research into the process, but the company themselves cited 7 years of research and clinical studies. So at the time, I felt pretty confident. I actually was also never really that upset about having this tattoo on my body. I feel like when I realized it wasn't really fading properly, I kind of got over it pretty quickly. This time I worked with a new tattoo artist that I found myself, and she helped me improve and cover up the design. It was a pretty long process because she had to freehand over a lot of the existing design, so I had to leave halfway, get dinner, and then come back. It ended up being more painful than I expected because unfortunately the parts of my skin that were touched by the old tattoo didn't take the ink very well, so she had to go over it multiple times. But I'm in love with the final product, and I'm glad this journey is finally over.
The fact that even doing a cover-up of ephemeral tattoos is a bit of a struggle is just such a huge yikes. Like, these ephemeral tattoos are becoming so much more hassle than they originally were. You know, people were promised that they would disappear, you wouldn't have to deal with it anymore after, you know, 9 to 15 months, and now people are noticing that their tattoos are lasting to like 3 years. Like, all I'm seeing is just hassle and commitment when it shouldn't be hassle and commitment. And the fact that these people are having to spend more money on top of their ephemeral tattoos, and the ephemeral tattoos were not cheap. I'd be so incredibly pissed if I had to be in this situation. There's also another person named Sharon who has documented the fact that their ephemeral tattoo has of course not faded. The caption for this TikTok says, "Any attorneys working on this lawsuit, let me know." So looking through the comments of Sharon's TikTok was very interesting to me. There is a lot of blaming Sharon and other people with ephemeral tattoos, and that's kind of the whole consensus of people being like, well, what do you expect? You know, stuff is being pushed through into your skin. Stuff may not fade because of that. But I just feel like not everyone is aware of how tattoos work. And yes, of course, I'll always encourage that you do your research before getting tattooed, whether it's permanent or not. Like, but some people just don't. You know, it's just one of those things. Or some people just don't look into it that much. But yeah, there's comments like this that says, "I don't know why you all believe that. Why would a tattoo go away?" But again, these people were promised that this ink that is used would go away. Some people just trust things like that, you know? If you don't want a tattoo, just don't get one. I have 6 actual tattoos, but yeah, I shouldn't have gotten an ephemeral even if it was free. So Sharon didn't even pay for this, so that's something, I guess. There's a chance now that she'll be spending money. You know, whether that is on like a lawsuit or a cover-up or trying to get rid of this ephemeral tattoo. You'll thought a tattoo goes away, and that's wild. You'll believe microblading goes away too. You'll be so surprised at how many people think microblading does go away. And it sometimes does, depending on a person's skin type. Because I have semi-permanent freckle tattoos. The ones that were on my like face and cheek area, they've pretty much faded quite a bit. The ones on my nose have stayed, you know, very visible. It obviously, again, depends per person, but there is just so much misinformation out there, and you really can't blame people too much for information that the majority of people believe anyway. Like, I feel like the majority of us at some point in our lives have believed that microblading is semi-permanent. I did before I looked into it more. I legit thought it's something that only lasts 2 to 3 years, but that's not the case. It can stay around for a lot longer. And we only have the beauty industry and the tattoo industry to kind of blame for that, right? Oh no, the tattoo I voluntarily got and put under my skin didn't have magic dye. Ah, post. Damn! I don't know how anyone could fall for the obvious lie that they'd fade. The thing is, Ephemeral's marketing tactic and the way they posted on social media, I mean, it would have a lot of people fooled. You know, again, if you don't look into it or don't think about it too much, you're gonna fall for it. And they had a lot of very good example photos of how their tattoos faded. If you're not a curious person, you're not gonna look into it much, right? People are so rude in the comments. They literally showed pictures in their marketing of their ink breaking down and dissolving in the skin within 9 to 12 months and claiming it was research backed, which is also very, very true. Like I was just saying, they were very good at marketing. Folks dragging you for getting these are so missing the point. Yes, a lot of tattoo artists knew this would not shake out the way the company promised, but the company that made under-researched and over-marketed practices is the villain, not the people who believed them. I hope you do find a lawyer if that's your desired path, which I'm pretty much with this person here. Like, it's the really, really rich tech bros behind this business that, in my opinion, is the issue here. Of course, us as consumers should do our due diligence and look into things like I've been saying, but sometimes when things are packaged in a nice shiny package with a nice little bow on them, you're tempted to open it. You're tempted to take a bit, aren't you? Now, moving along to the ephemeral Reddit. This is a place where I get a lot of my information about ephemeral tattoos and how people are doing with their ephemeral tattoos. And as you could probably guess, people are still not having a great time with them. Some people are having good experiences with their ephemeral tattoos, like they're the lucky ones. We have this post that says 3 years, 99% gone. You can still see a very fine line where the smoke was circled, but otherwise virtually gone. Got it in April 2022, so has taken a long time. So yeah, you can just see a tiny little line there in the middle of the circle. But other than that, that has actually, you know, disappeared very, very nicely. And that line obviously just isn't that noticeable at all. Like from far away, it kind of just looks like a hair, doesn't it? And here's another one that says, honest review of my experience. I got my ephemeral tattoo in March of 2023, and this is how it's faded in April 2025. My experience getting the tattoo was great, relatively painless, and the artist was awesome. I assumed it would be a bit more faded by now, but I'm not super worried or upset because I really like the art. I really would like to get more in the future, but want to see exactly how this one fades before I get more, which is very, very smart if you ask me. I think it's an awesome option for anyone who doesn't think they want to commit to something forever. So this picture obviously shows what the ephemeral tattoo looked like to start off with. It looks like some kind of cactus, right? Is this some kind of cactus, some kind of plant or something? I don't know. But this is what it looks like now. Obviously, it is noticeable. It kind of looks like a fine line tattoo that's been around for about 5 years, doesn't it? It's still pretty noticeable. I'm glad this person is happy with their experience, because at the end of the day, as much as this is all very interesting to see like a downfall of a tech bro business, there are still real people that have been affected by this. You know, I obviously don't wish any ill will on anyone. Again, did they make the choice to do this? Did they sign up for this without looking into it too much? Yes, but still, let's have a little bit of empathy, you know? Here's one that is pretty bad. 2 years later, and it's bad. And yes, it's bad. That's very bad. This is after 2 years. This person will still have this marking in 3 years' time, maybe 4. It's going to take a very, very long time for the rest of this to disappear, if it does disappear. Officially 3 years since I got my ephemeral, not even 50% faded, biggest regret of my life. Like, that just looks like a badly done tattoo to me, and I'm pretty sure I have actually featured this tattoo before. I'm glad this person is still like documenting their process. It looks like again like a badly healed tattoo. There's just like little chunks missing out of it. It looks like someone basically picked the scabs while it was healing. If someone told me this was a regular tattoo, I'd believe it. Like, this does not look like an ephemeral tattoo. This 3 years. 3 years and it still looks like that. This person is gonna have this for the rest of their life. I guarantee it. If that fades even like 10% more, I will be shocked. So like I mentioned earlier, there has been rumblings of lawsuits for a couple of years now, and there is still rumblings of lawsuits and people trying to get like a momentum going. I don't know if it will ever go ahead. I kind of hope so, but I think there's things that get in the way, which we'll talk about in a minute. So there's this post that says, ephemeral lawsuit. Would anybody be interested in meeting in the next couple of weeks and see how many of us there are to create a class action lawsuit? We can go and get coffee and call attorneys and see if we can get rep or all file small claims each, but together. I just hit 3 years with mine, but I believe that if you got it in the year when they told you it would last maximum 15 months, I think you could be part of it too. I'll be 3 years in about May, and I'm probably 75% faded. They were saying 15 months when I got it. I'm interested. 6 years in? Oh, hang on. That's probably 3.5 years in. Did a couple of laser sessions, still pretty visible, and I got interesting story about that. I was a journalist and I covered that story about incredible made to fade ink. I did a tattoo on camera. I have footage of the founder who promised me that tattoo would be gone in 1 year. Plus, I did a very stupid design that definitely affected my life. Now that is damaging, the fact that this person has footage of the founder being like, yeah, this will be gone in a year. 3 years and plain as day. I'm interested and very much want them to pay for this. We were lied to and misled. I'm also interested, while mine has faded a bit, but coming up on 3 years, it's definitely still very visible. Following, also interested, my tattoo was blown out from the get-go because the artist went too deep with the needle, and the rest that wasn't blown out hasn't faded at all. Now this is something that I have spoke about throughout a lot of my ephemeral tattoo videos, but of course when a tattoo artist does a tattoo, there's a chance that they will accidentally scar your skin no matter what type of ink they're using because they have been too heavy-handed. It's just one of those things that happens. You know, tattoo artists are human after all. So even if a tattoo was to fade, there's still a chance that you would be left with scarring anyway. And obviously if a tattoo artist goes too deep with this ephemeral tattoo ink, there's a chance that that can hinder the way the ink fades. Count me in, we'll be at the 3-year mark in a few months and likely to be around 50% faded. I know when I went there, they were claiming months, and 18 months would be considered long to them. There is no way their claims were anything close to resembling the truth. Then there is this other post that says, have potential lawyer for lawsuit. Hello, I have a friend who is a big time lawyer in Los Angeles. I'm speaking with him to see his thoughts on our case. Can someone send me the waiver we signed so I can pass it along to him? I got mine done a little over 2 years ago, but I know many have had theirs longer. If he's willing to take our case, I'll help coordinate getting everyone who wants to be involved signed up. Apologies if someone has already begun speaking with a lawyer and starting a case, but I didn't see that anywhere here yet. Please message me, thanks. And someone in the comment section did a solid and left a link to essentially the consent form that you sign when you get an ephemeral tattoo. It's out there for everybody to see. Like, this isn't, you know, it's not like behind any kind of security wall. You don't have to put a password in or anything like that. Like, it's out there. But what is said in here would probably make it incredibly hard for people to do a lawsuit. So we'll have a little look into it. It basically says consent and waiver. You desire to receive a tattoo with ephemeral semi-permanent tattoo inks. These inks are applied in the same method as traditional tattoo inks. In other words, an artist will apply the tattoo using the needles. And ephemerals, semi-permanent tattoo inks. Unlike traditional tattoos, tattoos using ephemerals, semi-permanent inks are designed to fade over the course of 9 to 15 months. However, the exact amount of time that the tattoo will last may be shorter or longer than this range, and it is possible that for some individuals, the tattooing process might leave individuals with permanent marks from the tattooing process. Also, as with any tattoo ink, it is not guaranteed you will be ultimately happy with the vibrancy or colour the ink provides, as this can be affected by various factors, including but not limited to the ink used, tattooing technique, and skin tone. Unlike traditional tattoos, ephemeral semi-permanent tattoo inks include a proprietary blend of polymers in addition to pigments to achieve the intended fading effect. Like traditional tattoo inks, the long-term effects of ephemeral semi-permanent tattoo inks and its ingredients have not been studied and are not fully understood. The same is true of the degradation of the semi-permanent tattoo inks once transferred to the skin, other potential effects from receiving a tattoo which may be related to or exacerbated by the tattoo procedure. Tattoo ink or both may include pain, discomfort, skin sensitivity, pinpoint bleeding, skin dryness, mild scarring, trauma at the site, infection, hypo or hyperpigmentation, blistering, burning sensation, scabbing, crusting, itching, inflammation, erosions, edema, heat sensation, oozing, pruritus, purpura, allergic reactions or anaphylaxis, difficulties detecting melanomas, reactions to latex gloves, reactions to soap, reactions to wound dressing or cover use. I acknowledge that it is not reasonably possible for the representatives and employees of this tattoo shop to determine whether I might have an allergic reaction to the pigments or process used in my tattoo. And I agree to accept the risk that such a reaction is possible. There also may be additional risks that have not been anticipated and are not listed above. If I have any condition that might affect the healing of this tattoo, I will advise my tattooer. I am not under the influence of alcohol or drugs. I am not pregnant or nursing. Like other tattoo inks in the US Food and Drug Administration has not reviewed or approved ephemeral semi-permanent tattoo inks. I have been fully informed of the inherent risks of getting a tattoo using ephemeral semi-permanent tattoo inks. Having been informed of the potential risk, I still wish to proceed with the tattoo using ephemeral semi-permanent tattoo ink, and I freely accept and expressly assume any and all risks that may arise from it. I waive and release ephemeral and the artist to the fullest extent permissible by law from any liability whatsoever for any and all claims or causes of action that I, my estate, heirs, executors, or assigns may have, including claims for personal injury and claims for direct or indirect damages arising from or related to the tattoo and or ephemeral semi-permanent inks. Ephemeral makes no representations or warranties, express, implied, statutory, or otherwise, concerning your satisfaction with ephemeral semi-permanent inks, and except as stated wherein expressly disclaims any and all warranties of any kind, express or implied, including without limitation the warranties of merchantability and fitness for a particular purpose. And then you kind of just sign it all and what have you. So now I'm no lawyer, but that seems very like, hey, there may be a chance that this will last longer and you're consenting to that, so whatever, peace out. I don't know if any lawyer at the end of the day is going to touch this, because I feel like this is pretty solid. I would love to know if there is any lawyers watching this video right now that can see any loopholes within this. That obviously may be helpful to anyone that is trying to do a lawsuit, but to me that seems very like, well, you sign up for it, so whatever happens, happens. We're not liable. It is actually crazy to me that there is this type of, you know, consent form or waiver before getting a tattoo. Like, I have never in my life, throughout every tattoo that I have never had to sign something like that. Ever. You know, like, that's just crazy that there's something like that within the tattoo world. Like, it's just unheard of.
I just took a quick look at the Reddit before I rendered this video in case there has been anything else added onto the Reddit page since I have filmed this video, and there is this post here that says, a note from the co-founder. I'm Vandan Shah, co-founder of Ephemeral. After discussions with the moderator of this subreddit, I wanted to provide context about our approach to customer feedback and explain some recent changes you may notice in this community. First and foremost, we value all customer experiences with our product, positive, negative, and everything in between. This feedback has been instrumental in driving our product improvements since launch, particularly with our 2023 formulation that addressed many of the fade time inconsistencies experienced by our early customers. We've observed that discussions in this community primarily reflect experiences with our earlier product versions, all of which we acknowledge and accept. To present a more complete picture, we've begun inviting customers who received our 2023 formulation to share their honest experiences here. We've emphasized to these customers that we welcome all feedback, whether negative, mixed, or positive, as each perspective is valuable for our continued improvement. Some of these individuals may be new to Reddit and therefore lack established karma histories, but they are genuine customers. We've encouraged them to include photos with their posts to provide visual verification and context for their experiences. We respect this community's role in facilitating honest discourse about our product. In keeping with our commitment to transparency, I wanted to clarify our approach directly rather than leaving the community to speculate. I won't be participating in follow-up discussions here, as we believe customer voices should remain central to this forum. Thank you for understanding. And then the comments on this post say, so you're just asking customers who you know had good experiences to post to drown out the bad reviews. How about instead you finally change your marketing so you're not lying to people? That would be a better use of your time, which I agree with. Good to see someone from Ephemeral wanting to be part of the community and reading our reviews. They have always lurked in this sub to do damage control for their garbage product. See, people are not happy here, which I can completely understand. The co-founder here is, again, doing damage control and trying to, like the other person said, drown out all of the negative reviews. So when people come across this Ephemeral Reddit to, do some research before they get an ephemeral tattoo, they're more likely to see positive feedback than the negative, which is so incredibly shady. Now, I have a feeling that Ephemeral has emailed a lot of their clients and customers to encourage them to post about their experiences on their Reddit, because there has been an increase since I filmed this video of people having better experiences. And of course, all the ones that have been posted are from their reformulation period, which was in 2023. So here is the Reddit, and here's one from February 2023 to April 20th, 2025. And as you can see, it has pretty much just disappeared. Like, it's worked out very, very well. And here is another one that has disappeared within 2 years. This one doesn't have a date on it, but it's very suspicious how this person's like, I've loved it, kind of thing. Then here's one from March 2023 to now. And again, they've had a much better experience when it comes to fading within 2 years. And here's another one as well from 2023. And all of these positive posts started around about 24 days ago. So you've got like positive ones that I've kind of already looked at here. As you can see here with this one. And then here we go back to the sort of negative feedback of Ephemeral about the laser, lawsuits, and all of that. So there was for sure some kind of email sent out to say, hey, if you've had an Ephemeral tattoo and you have a Reddit account, or you feel like sharing your experience with Ephemeral, can you please go and do it on the Reddit? I don't know, that's just a theory from me. This Reddit page really isn't that active or busy. There's only 780 members. And I really wouldn't put it past Ephemeral to do something shady like this, trying to encourage people to push the narrative that Ephemeral are better now, people are having better experiences. But it's also a bit of a red flag that if they have sent out an email to everyone that has got a tattoo since 2023, that there isn't that many people that have posted here. There's only, a handful of people saying they've had a good experience out of the potential thousands of people that have had an Ephemeral tattoo since 2023. So it's just like, oh, has it gone as well as they thought it would? I don't know. Anyway, moving on from that, Ephemeral have been pretty MIA throughout social media. Their last TikTok was on August 2024. They've kind of like abandoned their TikTok, and their TikTok was very, very popular. They did get a lot of interaction throughout their content. Some of it was people being like, I don't trust this. And other people were like, wow, this is so cool. I'd love to have an Ephemeral tattoo. But yeah, they've kind of abandoned that. Their Instagram is a little bit more active. Like, they last posted 2 days ago, but their engagement is so weak, like 40 likes. And they have 181k followers. Like, that is very, very suspicious. It could be a case of some of their followers are, bots or what have you. They have posted on their stories. What was their stories? Oh, smoke design with Ephemeral. Oh dear. Fades in 3 years. But their website says 2. Last 1 to 3 years. Oh my days. Like, nobody can get their story straight. It's crazy. But yeah, their Instagram is, it's pretty dead. Like, they do post obviously tattoos that are done with ephemeral ink and what have you. Again, look, fade within 3 years, but your website says 2. Get your story straight. That's the least you could do. On one of their pinned posts, there is this that says, we are proud to introduce the latest formulation of ephemeral ink. And there's a comment here that says, welp, my tattoo still has not faded after 4 years. 4 years. Another one says, mine is over 3 years now and not fading. Another one says 17 months here and still hasn't faded. Yikes. Honestly, just a big bunch of yikes. Like I've always said, I can kind of see as to why Ephemeral was made. I can see why there was a market for it and why people did jump
into the ephemeral world. And it could have been so much better if they truly tested it and got their story straight and didn't overpromise and underdeliver. And if it worked, it would have been so good, because there could have been a bunch of people with their silly little Pinterest tattoos using ephemeral ink, not, you know, cluttering up the tattoo world with tons of stories of tattoo regret, because they could have just got ephemeral tattoos and they could have faded and they could have worked and it would have been beautiful. But because it's such a crappy formula and it just doesn't work correctly for the majority of people, I still think it should just quietly leave the tattoo scene, stop selling it, and, you know, just carry on with the radiotherapy cancer tattoos. That is freaking excellent. Love to see it. No problems with that whatsoever. I feel like all of their time and effort should just be focused on that and really putting that to market and, you know, making it available worldwide, which I think it is anyway, but like really pushing it, putting it in, you know, so many hospitals and cancer treatment places. And yeah, they could really do something good with that. I think they just need to, you know, end this ephemeral stuff. Just stop selling it, stop doing it. Like, what is the point? A lot of people do seem to be incredibly upset about what's happened here, and that's not good. That's not good for business, right? Like, that's just it's just not good. It's not good. I don't know why they're holding on to it. They're really trying, bless them. I'll give them that. I respect the hustle and the grind of trying to get this to work and really take off, but I think the damage has been done here now, right? Anyway, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on this latest ephemeral update. How are you feeling about ephemeral now, considering they can never get their story straight, and there's still a lot of people out there that are really struggling with their ephemeral tattoos. And yeah, that's it for today's video. I just want to say thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little while. I appreciate you all so much, and until my next video, bye.